Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all variations thereof, and welcome. Who the fuck is putting things through my letterbox at this time of day? Oh. It's the local newspaper, which I don't subscribe to, but it still gets delivered to me for some bloody reason. Hi everybody, welcome in. Welcome Dragon Reaper, welcome Bearded Cyborg. Today we are blending. As with many days at the moment, we are blending. Because apparently Blender is where my brain is at the moment. Yeah. With that being said, today's blending challenge. We are doing bumpers and fenders, and maybe, if we manage to get past the bumpers and the fenders, we might do some doors. That's the plan for today. Inhuman gurgling from the vents. Oh my, Bearded Cyborg. You're certainly attempting something there, aren't you? So Blender blended your brain. I think my brain was blended a long time before I got to Blender. But things have definitely blended. So that's a thing. As you can see, currently my folder structure is very full. Because I have been doing quite a bit of work matching parts. Hold on, let me turn off this bumper. So, as you can see, we now have the frame for headlights. I've also come to a small and interesting realization that as much as I do like this vehicle, it is slightly wrong. And what I mean by slightly wrong is this wheel should be here. It should be centered on this, but it's not. And I don't really know how I managed to get this far without realizing that. There's nothing I can do to fix it now. But if we take a look at the... Hold on, let me turn that on very quickly. And edit the transform real quick. Sorry, I'm making sure that you guys can see what music is actually playing. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes. I'm mostly trying not to melt. I even turned my Send Dudes shirt into a cutoff. Oh no! I mean, actually that works. That works, Bearded Cyborg. That works better than it not being a cutoff, actually. You've made a crop top that says Send Dudes. That's just the vibe at that point. You have vibed the shirt. Congratulations on your Send Dudes crop top. Oh. Anyway, what was I talking about? We went over the lights. Oh, I was going to... Yes, that's what I was going to do. So, This is what the Duesenberg looks like. Does it pair with booty shorts? Hey, El. I would imagine that a crop top that says "Send Dudes" would pair with a pair of booty shorts that on the booty say My brain was trying to think up a pun, but now it's gone. I can't wear booty shorts, sadly. Ours is too thick, according to my wife. Oh my. I mean, is that a good thing? I assume it's a good thing. I assume that your wife appreciates a fabulous bootay, as it were. You do have some short jorts. Actually, that might work even better, going for those 80s vibes. Anyway, I was talking about the alignment of the wheels. So, this is the current alignment of the wheels on a Duesenberg. This is the current alignment of the wheels on the Duesen Royce. It is significantly further back. She doesn't want other ladies looking at you. I'm going to say something here, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way, Cyborg. But it feels like your wife might need to talk to someone about jealousy issues, because they can be very detrimental to a relationship. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, really. I've seen relationships destroy themselves because of that sort of thing, and it's quite terrifying to watch, actually. Anyway, moving on from that, back to the car. I'm not gonna change this now because it looks fine. It looks fine. I think. Probably. It does mean that visually speaking, the car has a little bit of an odd profile in comparison to... That's fair, Cyborg. That's fair. In comparison to the standard Duesenberg, the car has a bit of a weird profile. But it does mean that we have plenty of space for the bumper. And we should have plenty of space for the fenders as well. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna skip this one. Tom Cardy, I do enjoy your stuff, but I wish to switch to something else. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Sure. That'll do. God damn, that's a long title. I just got Aid a load of shorts, so now we have a Knobbly Knee Expo Daily. It's glorious. I can imagine. I can imagine. Okay. So. I had... Shit. There was a thought, and now the thought is gone. As usual. It's buggered off. Okay, right. I was talking about the headlights. That's what I was talking about. And the bumpers. So, the bumper... there are a lot of different bumpers in Pacific Drive. And there's not just one version of each bumper. There are two versions of every bumper in the game. One for the front and one for the back. So I need to create individual bumpers for both the front and back. What I can probably do is make the front bumper with the grill, then take the grill off and put it on the back and make some adjustments. It's gonna be a lot and annoying. Yeah. Need to have a shave tomorrow. Going to a convention this weekend as Commissioner Gordon. So you need to get rid of the beard. Well, Commissioner Gordon does have a beard, doesn't he? Well, actually, no, that depends on which version of Commissioner Gordon you're going for, Bearded Cyborg. Like, there are versions of Commissioner Gordon that have a beard. No, there are like later versions that do have one. I'm relatively certain. No, what I'm thinking of the stubble, because he usually has like a mustache and stubble. Yeah. Yeah, because like the Commissioner Gordon in the Batman Arkham games has pretty substantial stubble. I do think that this is my favorite version of Commissioner Gordon with the quiff in the front. It's fun. But I'm a little biased because the animated series Batman is my favorite. So, yeah. I'll just be shaving with my trimmers, so I'll have stubble. Oh, fair enough. When I shave, I shave fully. Like, I go right down to the grain. Right down to the root, rather. Because I don't like having a beard. And as a person who does not like having a beard, my beard grows really fucking quickly. I have to shave like every 3 days just to keep myself properly trim. Like this here, this is half a day of like, actually no, it's about a day. A day of stubble it's already scratchy. It's like, get off my face. I'd give it to Ed if I could. But I was talking about something and I keep forgetting. Right. Lights. So, as I've stated before, the Duesenroyce is a combination of a lot of different cars. You have the bonnet of a Rolls-Royce Phantom. You have the boot from a Duesenberg. You have the split windows of a Morris Minor, I think. You have 6 wheels in the basis of a half track, essentially. And honestly, I'm kind of tempted to turn the armored wheel variants into a half track if I can. I don't think it's possible, but it would be nice. We've pulled the headlights. That's what I was going to talk about. We pulled the headlights from a 1938 Duesenberg Aero Coupe. They have this sort of slanted stylization that's quite long and thin. So that's where we've pulled the headlight frame from. And I've actually gone through and I've built all the headlights that are needed. Hold on, let me turn these off because those are done and I don't need to worry about them anymore. Hi, Dead Meat. Yeah, I won't deny that this does give Cruella de Vil vibes. Like, there's definitely Cruella de Vil vibes here. I cannot deny that. Yeah. Gives? I mean, maybe shouts is a better word for it. But to be fair, The Cruella de Vil car, while not a Duesenberg, is very similar. Now, this is the one I prefer, I think. There's a variety of Cruella de Vil cars. And you've got the animated one, which is this one, which does give very long hood vibes. This is my favorite, though. If I go up. Oh yeah, the animated image is up here, but I was looking for something that gave a little bit more detail. And as lovely as the animated version is, it is very much... Yeah, no, I mean, all of these are the same car. Oh, this one. You mean yes, the engine, the part where the engine explodes. Yes. Yes, I do get what you mean. I do get what you mean. And it does give very Cruella de Vil vibes, I will agree. Like, there's the long bonnet and everything. Admittedly, if I turn this into a two-seater with 4 wheels, I could probably nail the Cruella de Vil vibes. I just need to move the front wheels forward. But that would take a lot of work, and I'm not willing to do that currently. As lovely as that would look. But yes. So, by the way, this is the Duesenroyce. It is a kind of nuts combination of a Rolls-Royce, several variations of Duesenberg, a World War II half-track, technically. Yeah, it's a lot of like different mishmash pieces. I was originally setting out to simply design a Duesenberg in Pacific Drive. I wanted to drive this kind of car. And then I thought to myself, well, I could drive a Duesenberg. Or I could drive the car that I want to own, which is kind of nuts and an all-around piece of madness. Diet Iron Brew tastes like Scottish sorrow. Oh no! Oh no, bearded cyborg. Oh no, why would you do this to yourself? Oh. Anyway. Yes. So this is our current project. Is this in the right place? I don't think it is. Oh, right. I'm not even... There we go. Okay, so one of the things that I... No, I think that's fine, actually. There's a lot of things that I need to do. 4 for a quid. I mean, I think there's a reason that they're 4 for a quid. Unfortunately, bearded cyborg. Yeah. That needs to sort of lower down a little bit there. I know that it's not a major worry. I don't need to worry about attachment points for anything until I actually start working in Unreal Engine to get all the attachment points up and running. And that's not going to be for a little while, and I'm not too worried about it, but it is weighing on my mind. But today we are doing the bumpers. We're doing the... We've already done the headlights, actually. If I pop into this one and I pull this, that's left, right? Yes. Hold on. Let me put this into position. And you can see what we're aiming for. So these are the electric headlights. A bit Mad Maxy, admittedly, but even the original electric headlights are a bit Mad Maxy. And I quite like the vibe that these have ended up with. And all of the headlights are done. It's just that they live back there specifically because... Hold on, let me turn off the seats. There you go. So, we have all the headlights. These are the basic ones, simple as... These are the bright headlights, which are... They're all using parts of in-game assets. It's just that they've been adjusted to fit the Duesenroyce. Like, the original headlights are really big and chunky. So I've had to do some adjustment. We have the electric resistant ones. We have the physical resistant ones. And we have the spare ones, which are sort of the scrappy ones. So they have like the lower headlight has wires dangling out of it, and the upper one sort of bolted into place, which I think looks pretty decent. That's the headlights done. But as I said, today is bumpers. Today is bumpers, and I need to stop getting distracted from working on the bumpers, despite the fact that I am terrified of starting work on the bumpers. This is the front bumper. Or this is the basic front bumper. I'm here purely to say that I actually like Diet Iron Brew. Some years back, a friend brought me some of the real stuff back from Scotland. It was orange sugar water, emphasis on sugar. I don't agree with you, Aid. Very specifically because I enjoy Iron Brew. But also, Iron Brew does have a distinct flavor, I found. But each to their own. Everyone has their own preferences. And I will not judge you for those preferences much. I will just disagree with you. We do... Okay, so... Before we get started on the bumper, we need to get started on the bumper attachment point at the back. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I did notice is that the standard chassis for the Pacific Drive car does not, at the back, have any indicator lights. It doesn't have any lights at all at the back, actually. I'm mildly tempted to make it so that when you put in the front lamps, it also puts in lamps on the back as well. But, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Because I'm uncertain. Because it would mean figuring out where to place the sort of brake lights on the back. So I'm uncertain about that currently. But right now, what we need to do is we need to edit this piece. This is our bumper mount for the rear. And it should, in all relevant expediency, allow us to mount a bumper properly. Oh, right. Before I do that, I need to scale it. I need to do this. Just to give it a bit of a more slimmed down profile. Then we bevel. And we give it that nice curved edge. And then down here, ooh, what's happened here? Hold on. Okay. Why are you being weird? Oh, wait, no. I know what's happening here. You don't have your faces normalized. You gotta have a normal face to be blended properly. Apparently. So, if you don't have a normal face, then I guess you don't get blended, which in some ways is probably a good thing. But also, if your intention is to get blended, then I don't know. You're kind of stuck on that one, I guess. Okay, there we go. Still being weird, though. Oh. No, that is being even weirder than I realized. What is going on here? Hold on. Okay, hold on. I need to turn off the body. There we go. Okay. My distance. At center. At center. Okay. There are times where I do wonder what exactly the Blender developers decided to start smoking when they were designing Blender. Because there are some things that are really well implemented, and then there are other things that are very confusing. Like the base inability to use... Yeah, what the... Why is... Okay, hold on. Delete that. Delete that. And delete that. Okay. Confusing. Alright. We've heard this one. We've heard this one. Give me... Oh, I don't know. You're gonna have to inform me as to the difference between a frame mount or butterfly bumper, Lister. That is not something that I am familiar with. Yeah, fuck it. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's fixed that. I think. And then... Right. And now... Okay. I want to smooth this out a little bit. So, I'm wondering... No, that bevel won't work. Okay. I need... Okay. Okay, hold on. Where is the body? There's the body. Line that up there. Okay. That's going to be a little irritating, but... If we just lift this up directly... Okay. And bring that out to about there. And line that up. Okay. There we go. That's that curvature in. Frame mount is like modern cars. The bumper bolts straight into the frame. A butterfly bumper has a sideways leaf spring mounted to the bumper, giving it some shock absorption. So, well, I don't know that I'll be able to properly model either of those. The bumpers do need to be removable, though. Yeah, no, we're going for a more like Duesenberg style bumper. Because the bumpers do need to be removable. It's just a matter of getting to that point, really. Hold on. I need to subdivide these and subdivide these. Okay. Actually, hold on. Okay, if I just do that. There we go. Okay. Okay, line that up with that. Just make sure that everything is lined up. Just so that once we do actually put this on the thing, it'll actually look nice. There we go. That is not exactly, but what the? That up properly, please. Okay. I know that there's Z fighting. Yeah, I think we're going to end up with a butterfly bumper at the end of the day, Lister. Sorry, I'm figuring out music at the moment. YouTube, your recommendations are mediocre at best. I mean, there's a lot of Stoops, but that's because we're on a Stoops song. Why do I want to know about the Mexico national football team? Why do I care? Okay, hold on. Give me... There we go. Okay. How's that? This needs to be brought down very slightly. There we go. Okay. I do want this to be slightly slanted upwards. slightly slanted upwards. Just a very gentle slope. Nope, that's... Okay. Okay, that's a little better. I do want to add a... I don't know. This Duesenberg does have an interesting little bit here on the back, which is what I'm trying to replicate for the bumper attachment. It's not the actual bumper attachment as far as I can tell. That is sort of all of this section as well. But it is part of it. So that's what I'm trying to replicate here. So, and we also want to bevel. Ah! Why? Okay. Very well. Normalize. And ensure that there are no vertices. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of Z fighting now, but hopefully we should be able to fix that pretty easily. Okay. How's that? Yeah, that's better. And then we do a smaller bevel to get the rest of it in. Oh, goodness. Ah, okay. Well, that might be an issue. It's fine, though. It's easily fixable. Yeah. That means it's an issue up here as well. There we go. Okay. And hopefully we should be able to sink this into the body a little bit. Then fill that. And now if we just pop that in there, we no longer have to have the Z fighting, and it actually looks smoothly coming out of the frame. Or the body, rather. Okay. Then, along the outer edge, we bevel. Of course. That surprises me not. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm a little... We push this back a little bit more. To about here. Yeah, that looks about right, actually. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be able to see into the chassis, hopefully. Unless you actively flip the car and are looking for this stuff, it's not going to show. So I think this is fine. Yeah. Okay, that should be fine. Okay. And now we... There we go. I do... Actually, I want to add a hole in here. The way I see this attachment point working, right, is you have a bar that goes through the hole, and then that arch, another bar sits in it and secures it, essentially. So you have a bar, and then so you have the hole, and then the actual arch, and then you have a bar on the bumper that goes through the arch, and another bar behind that, which is part of the bumper that goes through the hole. And it should give that a decent amount of visual security, I think. But I need to make the hole. But for that, I need... Realistically, I should have made the hole before I did all of this. Ugh. That's on me. I need to be able to cut a circle on this face. And it's really annoying, but I can't do that. Not easily, anyway. But... Whoa. Okay. That's definitely not intentional. What's going on here? Why is that? Okay. Oops. Distance collapse. Okay. Now that should work, hopefully. Okay, it does work, but it's being weird as usual. And it's not going to give me a circle. But at least now the surface is flat. Hmm. How does this work? Ah! Okay. Hmm. How about... Okay. Ugh. Why? 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 You know what? Easiest thing to do. Add the pole. Scale down. There we go. Okay. Dissolve, not delete. Okay. Now. Right. Now. Round about here should do. And I think Okay. And Shift D. Scale it down very slightly. So, oh, God. Okay. Okay, and then we just slide this cylinder level to the base. And that should be level. With the main face on this. And we should be able to tell by the fact that it's causing Z fighting. And it does seem to be, so we seem to be in the good range. Oh. Hmm. Okay, right. And now we need to do this side as well. Okay. I apologize if this is boring viewing. I am doing my utmost to commentate, but there ain't really much to commentate at this point in time. Okay. There we go. Okay, and now we remove this edge. Okay. Delete that edge. Delete this edge. That get a hole. There we go. And then here, here, and here, here is our division points. Like that. Okay. There we go. Oh, that was way more work than it needed to be. That's all right. We got there eventually. There we go. Oh. Slide that through. Yeah. Cool. That feels nice. Okay. There we go. Okay. And now we just need to bevel these interior. Actually, before we do that. Shift N, just in case. Okay. Now we bevel this interior segment. So that we can make it look nice when we put bumpers on. Bevel. There we go. Not bad. Now, that is decently big enough for a bumper section to go in. Oh, ah, ooh, ah, ow. Okay. This we will adjust to a different selection. This we will come out of edit mode and merge into the main chassis, so that we now have the mirrored version over there. Bumper bar. We'll do actually. We will center this, I think. Is that centered? That is not centered. There we go. That's centered. And then scale it out. Okay. I'm gonna move on from this one. Give me define gravity. I like that one. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. So you've got the boot, which comes down to about here. So that will lift past the bumper relatively easily. Okay. Right. Now, I can leave that, because that is ready-ish, I think. Okay. Right. And now we go back to what I actually needed to do this whole time, which was grab the internal sections of... Wait. Oh, right, because it's this side. Okay, and then we will Shift D and separate selection, and then back to object mode. Now this one will apply the mirroring to start with, and then we will merge it down into the main bumper file. Okay. And then we will very gently, I said gently, scale it down. Okay. Let's do 990, if I can get my hands on 990. Got to 991. Ah. I'll take 991. That's fine. I can live with that. Okay. That gives us the external footprint of the front radiator. Dissolve those vertices. Move. Okay. Find that. Okay. And Merge vertices. And then that top one merged in. Okay. Ah! Oh. Ouchie. Okay. All right. Okay. I am wondering if I should have just used the modifier to mirror this. And I think that might be a better idea, actually. Yeah, maybe. But I also need to figure out... Okay, so the bumper needs to go to about here because it needs to line up with the wheel. Okay. Ugh. I'm gonna take a quick bio break, everybody. We'll be right back. Okay. Right. So, what we need right now. We need 7 or 8 different variations on a... 7 or 8 different variations on a radiator. 7 or 8 different variations on a front bumper. And 7 or 8 different variations on a rear bumper. Which is a lot, actually. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take some cues from the base bumpers. Like, for example, this one. I like the radiator situation that we've got going here. I'm thinking of flipping that on its side to give us a radiator in here. Okay, very quickly subdivide this, this. And then we will delete these edges. Subdivide that. Delete these edges. Delete that. Then we are going to add a generation modifier for mirroring. Y-axis. What's happened there? It is mirroring, right? Yes, it is mirroring. It's just being a little weird here. For some reason. I don't know. Okay. Yep, that's being weird. I don't know why it's being weird, but it's being weird. That should be central. So, okay. Grab this face. Extrude. Oh, no. Inset first. And then extrude. Like this. Okay. And I think we'll do a very small 1-point bevel. The outer edge of this. Like that. And then I'm just going to delete this. Not going to be all of it. Oh. Okay. Delete edges. Right. This we need to assign this texture for the moment so that it's more distinct. And we'll do the vertical grill, I think. So best way to do this is to subdivide and then subdivide again. And then subdivide again. And then subdivide again. And then subdivide one more time. A lot of subdivisions, but don't worry, I have a plan. I have a cunning plan. Actually, we don't need to subdivide anymore, actually. What we can do is we can inset. Ah, no, of course. So if we inset like this. So if we do a thickness of 50, and we'll do the same on this one. There we go. And then I can either pull these sections, or I can pull the middle sections. I think I'll go with the middle sections. And we can just extrude these directly upwards. Okay. No. We can actually what we can do. Either way. Either way, it doesn't really make a difference actually. Okay. Okay. Ooh. That doesn't look too bad actually. I'm pretty happy with that. We bevel the front. Grill a little bit. That's a lot of parts. Hopefully this isn't too performance heavy. There we go. Oh yeah, that I'm pretty happy with. Ah, okay, yep. Oh. Oh. So that is our early game radiator. Our basic radiator. I'm thinking we'll do a cross-hatched one at some point. And after that, we'll see. Okay. Okay. So that is our mounting point for the bumper. Hold on. I need to grab this by... Nope. That. Okay. There we go. Okay. That is mounted centrally now. Okay. So we need to figure out what shape we want this bumper to be. Now, I'm thinking it'll just be... the basic one's probably just going to be a simple curved one. Not quite as fancy as this, but similar. Maybe just something like this. Actually, I quite like that. Hold on, is there a closer variant? Yes, there is. Ooh. I do quite like that, actually. Let's go for something like that. So, we're going to need curvature, which we can easily do by beveling. Let's subdivide this real quick. Okay. I think that's enough Prince of Egypt for now, actually. Can I has... Is there just the audio version anywhere? Take this one then. I do love me a good villain song. In case you couldn't tell. Okay. Right. This one. So it's flat at the bottom and then curved around the top. Alright. In that case... And that's a bit much. Let's do... Let's just do... Maybe a 3? Just to... There we go. Shift D. That forward. And then scale out. Oh, that's a bit too far. That's fine. Like that. Oh. Okay. Okay, that's centered. That's out to about the wheel, but I am feeling like this is more closer to the interior of the bumper than the exterior. Okay, 50. So, sort of like that. Oh, but it does feel a bit too small still. So maybe we scale it up like this. And we want a little cutout in there. And then some flanges on the end. And a little diamond shape in the middle. Which isn't impossible, it's just going to be difficult. Okay, let's start with that cutout. So, to about here, I think. Hey, Jack Hammerson. Welcome in. Thank you for the gift the other day. You did send it midstream, so I had a bit of a reaction. But thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. Branch that in. Ooh, don't select all of it. Terrible idea. Okay. Alright, how's that? Good. Delete. Oh, no. Dissolve those edges? No, no, no. Just delete them. Because what we want to do is subdivide this and subdivide this. Then delete that edge and delete that edge. Okay. Subdivide. Subdivide. And then That connects to that. That connects to that. Oh. Hi, Madeline. Welcome in. Thank you for the tea check and the unshrimp. I shall drink water and I shall stretch. Oh, ow. Oh god, that radiator was easy in comparison to this. Eek. Right. There we go. Yes, that's the cutout. You do need to... Alright. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, hold on. Can we just subdivide all of those? Ah! Apparently not. What? Oh. Why is that? Why is this separate? It shouldn't be separate. Okay, well, I guess we're doing this the other way then. Okay. These resolve. Okay, subdivide those. There we go. Delete those edges. Delete these edges. There we go. And this one. Well. Okay. Now we can bevel the interior edge of this. Okay, we're gonna need to subdivide this. Okay, and now should be able to bevel this nice and long. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now, all of this needs to slide very slightly. And bend the bumper very slightly. This is complicated. More complicated than I realistically maybe realized, but that's on me. I always end up taking on projects that are much more complicated than they originally look. Okay. We'll add another bevel here. Hmm. Huh. Wait. Well, what about that? No, this just isn't beveling properly. Why? Who knows? There we go. How's that? Still doesn't want to bevel. All right. Hold on. Is it the other problem? Shift N. It was indeed the other problem. Okay. Okay. That's not looking too bad now. Or for a starter bumper, the basic of the basic, that's honestly not too bad. Okay, and now we extrude on the y-axis. And we SY0. Okay. I'm not sure if this is big enough, but it'll have to do for now. Okay. Give me another villain song, why not? There we are. Uh, pull that far, just to about there, just so that it's on the edge of the wheel. You know, whenever they say Sorbeck, I always hear sorbet. Like there's a god out there called Sorbet. That's better. Closer to the grill. Okay. Now, the Duesenberg has like these little end caps on the front bumper. I don't necessarily know if I want to have that, but it's probably not a bad idea. I know that the later bumpers are going to get bigger and heavier. Especially the turbo bumper and the limb shield and stuff like that. Okay. Let's do a little bit of beveling. Very edge of this. There we go. That'll do. And we don't want that to Z-fight, so we'll pop that in very slightly. It's still visible, but not combating. Okay, this part. This part. Okay, let's subdivide this. Grab that. Then we'll extrude these points. Actually, no, we'll specifically just extrude this point. And then give it that neat little diamond visual. extrude there and subdivide this one. Actually, I want to invert that one. Okay, and then this one we extrude on the Z-axis. That. Okay. Give me something else, please. You know what? Let's go for some Miracle of Sound. Just without Valhalla calling, because bloody hell, no. There we go. Okay. Subdivide that. Okay. There we go. That doesn't look bad. That looks pretty good, actually. I quite like that. We need to figure out where the number plate is going, because the number plate on the front bumper is weird, and it doesn't always show up, and I don't know where it's stored. Ugh. Many little things. Okay. Give me a cube. And bevel it. Actually, I preferred this bevel. And then scale. Move it forward very slightly. Okay. Yeah. That's not bad. I like that. It's not exact, but it is nice. And that's the point, really. Making it look nice. This edge is a little sharp, though. I am of the opinion. So we shall bevel this very slightly. And we will also bevel the interior edge. There we go. Cool. File, save. That is the front bumper. Now, we need to do the back bumper. Okay. I don't think that the front bumper and the back bumper should be identical. I don't think that is a good idea. But, with that being said, it would be easier to just copy and paste it. What does the bumper on the back of this thing look like? The answer is it doesn't have one. Okay. Alright. Very well. No bumper reference for me for the back. I like this on the outer edge. So, okay. Okay. Control C, Control D, and we send this to the back. Now the back bumper needs to be slightly higher up. I can do that later. Okay, so we want the bumper bar, and then we want secondary bumper bar. Which is raised. And we want a connector for these two. But this bumper bar also needs to be a full part of the bumper. If we I'm thinking curved, but I mean, honestly, some of these cars don't even have rear bumpers. Can I get a rear shot of the Cruella de Vil car, please? Like the movie one? Oh, that does kind of have a... Actually, that has a double bumper. So... what we could do is just something like this. Like just a relatively simple piece. Yeah, that could work. Very quickly, we will also grab this and bring it back to the middle, because it does not need to be all the way out there. I do think a very gentle curve into that corner might work for the back bumper. Just something really simple, maybe. Okay, let's extrude. And we will rotate by 90 degrees. And then move down here. These two move back to here, and then we will bevel. Yeah, okay. Give me bevel on 7. Yeah, that could do. And then we can move this into place. Like that. And we'll need a couple of connecting points, but that doesn't look too bad, actually. Just a very simple, plain bumper. But the basic, I think, is the best way to go about it. Okay. So if I... If I make cube on top of here, and then move it into this position, then start selecting the faces instead. Pop that over the top there. Pop this here. Bring it down to include that. Then this back portion, we can bevel on a 1 to give it that corner. These front sections we can bevel on 4s to give them connection curvature. And then these sections we can bevel on 3s. So that all of that feels like it works. Then on the edges, we can bevel in 1. But before I do that, actually, I want to make this a little thinner. And I also want to bevel this. Ah, right, of course. Before we bevel anything, gotta make sure that everything is aligned properly. There we go. Okay, now we should be able to bevel this without visual interruption. Okay, so that's the bolt. And then this should be the plating. That's a little too much. I will move this. Okay, and rotate it very slightly. There we go. Okay, now we can bevel. We'll bevel on a 1. I think I prefer that actually for that piece. Yeah, that doesn't look bad. I feel like we need something here. I don't know what yet. That's not bad for a bumper. It'll do. Ow. Bearing in mind that the rear main wagon bumper looks like this. So this is a lot slimmer, but it'll have to do. There's a few bumpers that are going to be quite interesting to implement. For example, the magnet bumper. That's gonna be interesting for sure. I think I can do it. It'll just be weird. Yeah. We'll probably scale it down a bit as well. Then there's the junk bumper, which is literally just a girder strapped to the front of the car. But I think I can manage that. Or something similar to it anyway. I need to do a bunch of junk parts as well. We've also got the electric resist bumper, which is going to be fun to deal with. Because that's definitely a weird one. Oh boy. Okay. Sign that there. I don't know. Actually, what we'll do... just slide this inwards as well. About there. There we go. Rear bumper done. I need to grab it. Actually, no. If this is the bumper done, then the first thing I need to do is enter object mode and apply mirroring. Then hop back into object mode, select the back bumper, and separate it. Okay, and then this gets to replace this piece. Okay. Then this goes back to selection cursor. Then we twist it around 180 degrees so that it is technically facing the right way. And this one, all we have to do for that is send selection to cursor. Et voila, we have our first 2 bumpers. It's only taken us, what, 2.5 hours to do that? Yay. Oh boy. I may pull... I may pull the radiator in for various other bumpers, but I think I want to make the radiators unique for each one. I'm not entirely certain. And some of the bumpers we will be pulling from the game itself, like this one. It's very specific in its visuals. But then others, we have the reinforced bumper, and it's like, well, that just doesn't fit on here at all. Like, it just doesn't work. Or the acid bumper, for example. That's another one that's like, how? You know? How would that fit? How do we make that work? I think I can bring some parts of the electric bumper in. Mainly this sort of front bar and the cabling and stuff. But most of it's gonna have to go. Yeah. But we are getting there. It's just a lot of work. A lot of work. You know, I was hoping that maybe we'd get onto at least a Fender today. I don't believe that's going to happen, mainly because I'm looking into my future and all I'm seeing is bumpers. Oh boy. Oh boy. So I don't think we'll be getting onto Fenders today. Obviously, I'm doing a lot of this stuff off stream as well. So not all of this progress is being done on stream. I'm spending a lot of time off stream just sort of tinkering away. And it is slow progress. I will admit that much. But once I get into the swing of things, I'm usually relatively okay with... Excuse me. I'm relatively okay with just battering down the foreseeable challenges. Let's give the absorb bumper a go. Yeah. Okay, let's... Edit mode. Ooh. That's the back bumper. We don't want the back bumper, we want the front bumper. Edit. Okay. My thoughts for this bumper. A lot of this is going to have to go. Specifically this sort of centerpiece. But I like the way the radiator is being done here. So I may copy that over for the actual radiator. May spin this around so that this arm is over here. So that the arm connects directly to that. A lot of these tanks are gonna have to go, I think. I don't know that I can realistically keep those in. And the other problem is lack of symmetry. If a bumper is unsymmetrical, it makes my life 100 times more difficult. Because I like my symmetry, and... yeah... basically. Yeah. Okay. Let's... Okay, I need to start with the... I need to start by removing the parts that I know I won't use. So, all these pipes, all these tubs, tanks. Those can go. This stuff as well. Okay. So many tiny little pieces. Ah. Why? Why is your model not properly componentized? Why, Pacific Drive devs? Why? It's fine. I can live with it. It just means it takes a little longer to do things. Okay. And this needs to go as well. There we go. The pipes, I think I might be able to keep, depending on how I build the radiator. Maybe I can just slide them under it. I may be able to keep this. Or no. Well, maybe. This has to go. Okay. Yeah, I think I can adjust this to fit this area. So that shouldn't be too bad. What I'm thinking... Is that... Oh, that's offset. Oh. All right, very well. Let's... Oh, wow. You've actually... Huh. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So, knowing that I'm gonna end up mirroring this, let's delete this one. And then we'll delete this one. We will add the generation modifier. Oh. Okay. Okay. And we want to... Let's see. Shift D. S, Y minus 1. And then slide that along to there. Okay. Then this section we shall slim down to that. And do the same thing over here. Thin that down. Then give me the... There we go. And that should slot onto there relatively nicely. And we'll lift it very slightly. We'll lift it substantially for the moment because what we also want to do is attach these. Control L. Oop, no, didn't mean to. Fuck. There we go. Okay. Complete. Okay. Okay. Then bring this over to this side. we go. Okay. Now, I could do this, but I'm not going to. What I am going to do is split these out into their component tubings. And what we'll probably end up doing is replacing the tubes themselves entirely. Yeah, we'll end up replacing the tubes themselves entirely. Okay. But for the moment, give you guys a decent visual of what I'm thinking. Obviously, it's been slimmed down substantially from what it actually was, but that's kind of going to happen regardless of what I do. Simply because of the fact that, at the end of the day, this is technically a smaller car, even though it doesn't look it. Okay. Now we move this down. There. So you can now see that there's an idea here. It's just a complicated idea. We'll bring this cable in through there, and this cable will go under the radiator. So it'll come in through here. And both of those will connect into the bottom of the engine. Because I don't see anywhere else that they'd end up connecting, to be quite honest. And it still looks like it's impact absorbing. Ish. It's fine. Probably. Okay. Right. Give me an inset face. Oh, right, yes. Your little issues. My distance, please. Right. Then we move this out. And this one we link up in the middle. We are going to pull this one further out, though. To about there. Okay, that's a bit far, actually. Be about half that. There. There. Yes, there'll do. Okay. Okay, now we need the radiator, which, by the look of it, we're doing this pattern on it. Which isn't impossible, it's just gonna be irritating. Which is honestly the name of the game at the end of the day. Well, no, to be fair, the name of the game is Blender. And it's not even a game. Okay. Show me our chassis. Object mode. Okay. Shift D by selection, and then this meshes down into that. Okay. Okay. Working off of cursor to world origin. There we go. Working from the 3D cursor, we will scale this down. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Take distance and then solve. Go. Okay. All right. Now do this. We inset the face. Go about there. Unlike the previous one, this one we don't want a central divider. So what we will do is we do still want this flat edge at the top. Is we will grab this vertice, extrude it on the y-axis until we get to there. Then we will subdivide this. Slide the vertice up until it reaches that point there. And this, we merge. This gets deleted. Okay. Then we'll do the same down here. Extrude y-axis. Then subdivide. You directly down. There we are. Merge by distance. Move this. Yeah. And then we can start putting in our faces. How's that? Yeah, that'll do. This central one gets deleted. Okay. Right. Easiest way to add in these slats at the front is via cube. So if we simply do cube, then select the front edge and do that. Et voila, we have slat. I might make them a little thinner. And I will definitely give them a bit of a bevel. Okay. And there. Okay. And these need to be red because they're internal. This needs to be gray because it's metal. And actually, let's put in the bevel on this as well before we start anything else. There we go. Okay. This gets extended the middle there. Ah, hello. Okay. SY0. There we go. Shift D. And eventually we'll remove this back piece, specifically because I'd like to be able to look through the radiator. If you have the right angle, I suppose. Okay. No, not what I meant to do. Pete's sake. Okay. Okay. Right. So this gives us the division point. Go. 50. Go. Yeah, that's starting to come together quite nicely, actually. Okay. Yeah. It has good vibes so far. Should be able to fit 2. Yeah, just about. Right. So this definitely needs to go in. Oh wait, what I should do. Maps by distance. There we go. Right. Okay. This slides in, but we're gonna need to slide it at an angle. So the lower section here comes out like this. Same on this one. That should fit. Go. Okay, this one needs to go back a little bit. Oh, yes, thank you, Dead Meat. Oh my god, I can feel my spine cracking. Ah! Oh. Yeah. It is, unfortunately, my chair is not particularly good for back support. Like, I mean, it is, but that relies on me being able to actually Gnirk? Sure, Dead Meat, I'll take your word for it. Gnirk. Why not? And then we can quickly grab this, delete that edge. Oh, God. Right. Okay. Okay. Go. Perfect. Let's select that. Deselect these edges. And we will bevel it very slightly. Just on the inside, so that it looks visually consistent. Yeah. That's not bad. It's, I mean, obviously it's a lot less, like, visually, distinctive than the modules on the Pacific Drive car. But it kind of has to be just to fit within the profile of it. It's a bit of a difficult balancing act, honestly. Okay, I think it's time for everybody's favorite tool. It's time for the Bezier curve. Delightful. Move you. Move you. Scale you down. And rotate you 180 degrees. Okay. All right. And give me data. Oh, that's offset. Turn that. And slide that into this section. Then we subdivide. that. That should be fine. Okay. Right. Cool. That forward and up a bit. Go. Then this one goes. Oh, God. No, 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 no. This one? Yes, this one goes under radiator. Yes. So that pops in there. Subdivide. And yeah. That looks decent. Okay. Hmm? What? I'm confused, Deadmeat. Why must you confuse me in my own chat? How dare you? Okay. I think that's good to drop the resolution down on. Yeah. We'll fill the caps on those as well. Because you're a Swede. That is true. I know a lot of Swedes and they all confuse me. I don't know if it's intentional, but, you know, they do. Okay. Right. There we go. Yes, I'm happy with that. File, save, edit to object. Nottils, welcome in. First time chat. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the stream. I don't believe I've ever met anyone from Latvia. I'm not entirely certain, to be fair. You can't always tell where someone is from. But I am not aware of having met anyone from Latvia at this point in my life. Okay. Convert to mesh. And Control J. There we go. Greetings. You followed for quite a while? I guess you've never chatted. I mean, there are a lot of lurkers, I will say. There are an extensive amount of lurkers that follow me, and that's fine, to be honest. Now I know one Latvian. Well, there we are. There we are. I am slowly collecting a menagerie of people from all around the world. Here, I'll use 5 letters only, in different arrangements or length, no longer than 6 letters long, each of them a different full sentence. What does that mean, and why does it terrify me? Okay, we want rubber yellow and rubber blue. There we go. Yeah. Okay, cool. That is not looking bad. I feel like we could do more, but I'm not entirely sure what yet. So this is for oh god. Okay, let me explain it from the top. I'm currently using Blender. No, hold on. I'm currently using this project as a way of learning Blender. The easiest way for me to learn things is by jumping in the deep end, i.e. this. This is eventually going to be a mod for the game Pacific Drive. Eventually. At some point. Might take a while, to be fair. But that is the plan. And I'm gonna very quickly shift this back. What is Blender? Blender is the program I'm using. This is Blender. Blender is a 3D modeling and yes, it is not a. Well, I mean, I'm sure, I am certain that there is at least one chef that uses Blender in the kitchen for some reason, but I am not one of them. But no, it is essentially, Blender is essentially a 3D modeling software. And in this instance, we utilize this software to make car. Is the easiest way I can describe it, to be honest. And trying to avoid clipping into anything too much. Yeah, that'll do. I feel like it's not enough, but once it's combined with everything else, it'll look fine, probably. N-A, you're wrong. N-A-A, I can't believe it. N-A-E, no. N-A-A-E, I don't think so. N-A-A-E, question mark, I'm not sure what the actual hell. N-A-H-A, really? N-A-N-A, never gonna happen. N-A-A-N-A-A, you're lying. N-A-N-A-N-A, sarcastic, of course. N-A-M-E-N, fancy seeing you here, my friend. That is... You know, I thought English was bad, dead meat. But that's awful. Yes. Yes. Well, you say simple. I would say Blender looks simple on the surface, but is actually a lot more complicated. Specifically because it's not a standardized CAD software. It's closer to a sculpting program that I'm trying to use as a CAD software. Which brings a whole new level of weirdness to it. But yeah. Okay, I think that's good. I think I'm happy with the front bumper. Yeah, I think I'm happy with the front bumper. Now we need to do the back bumper. Ooh. Ah! Yes, I do see what you mean, Trottils. I do see what you mean. I'm used to stuff like SketchUp and other design software like that, which requires measurements and you can put in measurements. You can put in measurements in Blender, it's just a little weirder. But Blender is very much designed not to rely on measurements, because if you do rely on measurements, you kind of end up screwing yourself over. It's not amazing for that, basically. So I try not to rely on measurements, but I'm also fully aware that I rely on measurements more often than I realistically should. So yeah, yeah. Okay, this we need to edit, rotate by 180 degrees, and move it. Okay. Ooh, boy. If I set this into this section, like that. Can I mount that into the sides? Ooh, maybe. Yes, 3D printing and dimensions are very much a thing that don't just go hand in hand. Well, they're at war, basically. 3D printing and dimensions are constantly at war. Yeah. No, that's definitely a thing. Huh. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to mirror this. Okay. Actually, if I'm mirroring it, I can just chop most of this off. Okay, cool. You know what I should have done. Ooh, right, yes, good. Wrong button. Okay, and now I can delete that. So now I have sort of a center line. Right. %, spelled it wrong, the Swedish word. Oh dear. Skull or skull, depending. I can't pronounce Swedish. I can do English and I can do a bit of French and I can do a little bit of Portuguese and Italian. That's kind of my limit. Yeah. Delete these vertices. Then pull this out. Ooh. Ah, I see. Delete those vertices. Okay. All right. How do I want to implement this? Oh boy. I learned pronunciation, not writing. Beauty of deployment. Ah, I see. So we got et, which means one, and also n, which also means one. Your language worries me, dead meat. Your language worries me. That's all I can say. Okay. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hold on. If I do this, yes, I can pop that out. Not quite fully though. Give me the. Ah, wrong one. Oh my god, there's so many tiny pieces. Okay. Pop that there. Alright, we'll use the full-sized one on here. But we will rotate it. Okay, so there's plenty of room to work with here. Okay, cool. Oh, goodness me. No, no, no. There we go. Gregory. Okay. Okay, so that is now level with that. And no, no, that, D, S on the x-axis -1 to invert. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. S on the y-axis to invert. Okay. There we go. Oh boy. Okay, it's fine. Then we want to bring this in to around about there, I want to say. Yeah. And we want to bring this to the inner edge here, I think. And we want to avoid the fenders, because if we... Okay, that can go straight into the body, I think. Do I even want this? No, I do. I want this, but I want it turned the other way around. Okay. So, let's... SZ -1. Okay, I won't worry about that too much. Well, I'll worry about it a little bit. That should do. Yeah, cool. So that can go straight into the body. You do need a modifier to generate the mirror. Okay. And I do still need to finish the exhaust pipes. Ah! So much stuff to do. Who created language? Well, according to many religious texts, language was created when the Tower of Babel fell. But alternatively, language evolved for humans to communicate, and because humanity was so disparate, different language evolved in different places. And some places decided to evolve some very, very weird languages. Which is, you know, it happens. I like that, Dead Meat. You have Proto-Germanic, Proto-Latin, Proto-Slavic, and just the languages Finland and Estonia use. That's like, okay, interesting. Fun fact, reason French is so hard for most Northern Europeans to understand is because it's Latin-based. Well, yeah. French, English is a weird one, though. English is very weird when it comes to, like, the basis for where it came from, because it's been influenced in a lot of... It's not just Latin Germanic. It's Latin, Germanic, and Celtic dead meat. Because Celtic has its own forms as well. And you also have to remember that English has also stolen a bunch of words from a bunch of other languages. Mainly French, but also quite a few others. So it's... Yeah. It's an absolute clusterfuck. We would like our word back, please. Can't have it. Mine now. Oh, goodness me. The English language is like the British Museum for languages. No, you're fine, Trot. You're fine, Trottles. Honestly. My stutter's acting up again. William the Bastard is the biggest influencer in the English language, next to religion. Yes. Yeah, William the Conqueror, aka William the Bastard, did a lot of stuff that kind of made the English language a absolute clusterfuck. He wasn't the only one, by far, but... Yeah... Oy. I like this one because it's not a bumper mounted in the traditional way. Okay. I need to add the pipes, but I'm not sure how I want to add those in yet. Okay. We have done a degree of progress, and it's not as much progress as I would have liked, but we've managed 3.5 bumpers, and that's and the bumper connectors, and it's getting there. Just really slow. Because yeah, this is a lot more complex. This is a lot more complex than I originally realized, and I've bitten off a lot. And I'm chewing on a lot. There's a lot to chew on here. But with that being said, ladies, gentlemen, and all variations thereof, I think we are going to call it for the evening because I'm getting very hungry. And it's like 10 p.m., 10:30. We're going to go raid a Z-Manzilla, who is currently doing some tarot reading. They are very wonderful. They're a very wonderful person, and they're a very fun person. Go give them some love. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening. Have a very good evening and a very good night, everybody. And we shall see you all next time. Ta-ta for now, everybody.